Summers are finally here in Canada. And today I want to share something totally not related to the summer or Canada, but the fact that why is Australia such a good option for you to move or any immigrant to move based on my personal experiences. And another big question, should I apply to live in Australia again? Should I apply for permanent residency again? Someone told me that it is such a downgrade to come here. So it doesn't matter what industry you work in, the amount of money you will be making on a minimum is good enough to sustain a reasonable lifestyle. Employers pay something called Superannuation, which is 10% of your salary. But first I'm going to get some Tim Hortons. We got only one coffee and two pastries because we are cheap. But yeah, it doesn't make sense to have two coffees. I can't finish the whole thing. So we always get one and share between us. So today we're going to talk about why Australia is such an amazing place to live in. And I'm going to tell you, based on my personal experiences, why I love Australia and why you should move as well. And if you don't know my story, then I moved to Australia in 2017. I stayed there for about 5.5 years and then I moved to Canada. So growing up, being someone who is brown and who was brought up in an Indian society, I had a lot of insecurities because people in India are very much obsessed over being fair. When they see a girl who's beautiful, she is fair, she has straight long hair, she is tall. So I grew up with lots and lots of insecurities, including the fact that I had crooked teeth, I did not have good hair, I always had frizzy hair, I was not tall. So whenever I used to think about myself, I was like, I don't have like any kind of physical quality that I can be happy about. And a lot of people also made jokes about it, and I took it, like I laughed it off, but inside it hurt me, that the fact that being someone who's dark skinned and I'm being made fun of, just the fact that the way I look, it was very hard to grow up with. But then I moved and there was this very different change about how people looked at me. So the stuff that was being looked at as a negative was a positive here. So people were getting tanned, people loved my skin color, people wanted to get tanned to come to my skin color. And growing up with these insecurities, when people complimented me for those same things, I was shocked to know that, okay, these are not negatives, these are positives, and it's just the place you are at and the people you interact with who think that certain things should be certain way, and beauty is subjective. So I got so much confidence in how I look and I started loving myself. Back in India, a lot of times your intelligence is measured by how well you can speak English. So English is basically taken as a measure of how educated you are, which I always felt was wrong. So when I moved to Australia, I met people from all around the world, and English was just used as a way to communicate and explain what you're saying. When I started living there, I felt that no one's judging me based on the way I look, based on how I speak, based on what I wear. I had this freedom to do everything and anything, and no one was there to judge me. This is something I felt was very, very nice and made me feel very included in the society, even though like I don't know how well or bad my English was, but I never felt that I need to do something about it to make sure that I fit in. So basically, I'm from Delhi, right? And if you have been to Delhi, it's known as one of the most unsafe cities in India, and it is very unsafe for women. Back home, if I wore something that is maybe shorts or shirt or something like this, I would get stares and stuff. So this was not happening in Australia, and I felt very safe as well. I used to come back from work at maybe 11, 12. I never realized that it's so late and maybe it might be unsafe to go back home, because there was no such things happening around me that would make me feel that way. I mean, I lived near my university. I have been to other parts of the city. I have been to main city and come back, taken the bus to come back at like 4 or 5 in the morning. And I would walk to my house from the bus stop, and I would never think that, okay, it's so late. Is there something I should be careful about, or is there something that if there's a person behind me, should I be worried? Should I be alert of what that person's doing? Because half the time, no one's doing anything as such like that, like where you would feel unsafe. And you know what? When I was going to search for my job back in Sydney, I am very much guilty about thinking that some jobs maybe are not meant for me. But I was never more wrong in life, and I was never more happier to be wrong in life. So everyone I knew or who had just come to Australia as a student, they were working odd jobs. And wherever you go, whoever you tell that you're working in this kind of job, no one would think or judge you based on the fact that you're doing something that's not regarded as a white collar job. My mentality changed like this. When I started working in these places, I got to know everyone does this. There's like no difference between the people who work an odd job or work in a desk job in an office. And it's just part and parcel of life. And I think it's very important to work in these places as well, because you get to learn so much. I have learned so much. I've got so confident about how I speak to people. I can manage people, I can manage time, I can provide good customer service. I know how to handle bad situations, and these things I would not have learned if I had not worked in those places. And also it's just great to get that exposure, that experience as well. And the pay is so great that you don't really need to look for a desk job or a white collar job, because store manager might be earning $80,000 a year. An office manager could be earning $80,000 a year. So this pay equality helps a lot to put these odd jobs as well in the same platter where you would put a white collar job. The minimum wage is $21 and I think 83 cents. And then you get penalties and all of that. If you're working casual, I used to work casual, so I used to get about $26 an hour. And since wages are high in Australia, you can definitely get by with working minimum hours with minimum pay as a student in your student life. So this is why I would really advise students who are looking between Canada and Australia and just thinking which country you should go to. In Australia, the kind of money you get as a student is very, very good to sustain a good lifestyle over there. Okay, just to give you some numbers and some comparison, if you're working casual, you would get around $26 an hour. And if you work 38 hours a week, you would make $1,000 a week, and multiplied by 4, like in a month you would make $4,000, $4,100, $200, and annually you would be making about $50,000 just working a casual job. So it doesn't matter what industry you work in, like what kind of job you work in, the amount of money you will be making on a minimum is good enough to sustain a reasonable lifestyle. You won't be just surviving, you would be living, and you can save a little bit as well. And apart from Sydney, every other place, the cost of living is slightly lower. So it's easy to manage expenses over there, and the types of jobs are also very, very diverse. So there's something for everyone's skill set. The Australian culture and Australian people are also very nice and very welcoming. I remember I was working in a store, and I told one of the girls who was working there, that I'm doing my master's, and she was so happy about it and so surprised about it, and she said that you have accomplished so much in your life. And she made me so happy about the fact that I was doing something that not everyone does. I remember there were like lots of times when people just say hi, compliment you, or just like say that okay, you are wearing a very nice dress. I can't remember the number of times girls have complimented me in the washroom when I'm like doing my makeup or something. So it's just a very nice and very, very chilled out atmosphere, and they don't take things seriously. Like not many people take things seriously in Australia, and they are also big on drinking. So I just love the fact that how chilled out everything is, how you are made to feel that as you're welcomed in that society, and small things like good customer service. Oh my god, customer service in Australia is amazing. You have not experienced good customer service if you have not been to Australia. As someone who has worked in customer service, I must tell you that like companies stress on providing the best kind of service to the clients, to the customers, and they are very serious about it. I mean, because for them, good reviews and having a good relationship with customers is super important. It's like one of the highest KPIs, one of the topmost KPIs. Even when we have been on hikes and stuff, when we go out, people stop and say hi and make small talk and just like, talk to you. And I've never felt that I don't belong there. I think that's the best thing about living in Australia, that you would never feel that you don't belong there. And it's amazing how I have felt this kind of belongingness to a country where I would not have like thought to belong ever. And even now, there's this person who keeps sending me resources about Australian immigration, and who tries to convince me to come back to Australia. He's like, this is the country you are in, and it's not someone who belongs to my community. It's someone who belongs to a different community, and it's beautiful how generous and kind people are over there. And I cannot tell you, I just love Australian people. Yeah, I love them. This sun you see glaring on my face, over there in Sydney, we had this sun throughout the year. Yes, the weather is amazing over there. It's like beach weather. So every time it was above 20 or something, you would wear your swimwear, go to the beach and just chill there. Someone told me that it is such a downgrade to come here from that weather, because over here it's like, you would know, the cold and everything. Australia doesn't get any of that. So yeah, it's very different for me right now. But back then, we would not be bothered with cold, or like even on the coldest of days, you would just need like a very light puffer jacket or something, and you would be done. And when I started working there as a full-time employee in my company, I was very much taken aback by the kind of work-life balance there was. I was supposed to work 9 to 5, and at 5, my laptop was closed. No one would ask me to work beyond that time, and no one expected me to work overtime. No one expected me to answer any calls overtime. No one disturbed me on weekends on my vacation days. And these small things was really amazing to me, and it gave me the sense of work-life balance that I am not going to compromise with this ever again, because you need that. I feel over there, the workplaces stress upon working as well as taking time off, because for example, in my company, I used to get 17% extra pay on the days I took annual leaves, which means that the companies encourage you to take annual leave so that you can go out, have some mental peace, change of environment, and come back again recharged for work. It's such a nice environment that you are willing to work and you're willing to give your 100% at the job. And a lot of times, like my company even, they were like, just work as much as you can and then don't over exhaust yourself. And setting this kind of standard of work life is very important. And I'm so glad that I got such managers who would never pressurize me to work more than I am supposed to. And it was always such a delight to work. Something that I absolutely love about living in Australia is the active lifestyle. So when I moved there, I was like very not bothered about my health and how fit I am and stuff. When I looked at people doing that, I was like, I'm not going to do that. I felt like that's unnecessary. I'm just happy with the kind of body I have and the kind of fitness level I have. But then looking at people, I don't know how, I started doing those things little by little. And right now, I can't live without it. I mean, I love it. It's my lifestyle right now. I can't go a day without maybe working out, or if I'm not working out, I'll go out and walk and do some kind of active thing or an activity in the day that makes me work or do things and makes me stay fit and disease free in general. It's just the way people live there. And also the food is very health focused, so you will get fast food but you will get healthy food at the same price. And I remember I had started eating Soul Origin, which is a salad place, and you get like a bowl of salad for $8. If you go to McDonald's and you get a meal, it is the same price. So why wouldn't I choose Soul Origin, a bowl of salad, over McDonald's, because it's the same price? So I have found this really good relationship with food where you portion control and you eat stuff that's good for your health, that makes you feel happy as well as makes you fit. So I eat chips, I eat chocolates, I eat cakes, I also eat salads and chicken and rice, and I have not stopped myself from eating anything. It's just I have created this healthy lifestyle and healthy relationship with food and working out that I never wanted to, but it happened. And it's all because of the kind of environment I was living in. When you start working in any company on tax, whether it's casual, part-time, permanent, full-time, contract, whatever, the employer pays something called superannuation. So it can be between 10% to 17%. And superannuation is basically a retirement fund. It did not get deducted from my paycheck. But the company I was working for, they paid my superannuation in a superannuation fund. So whatever my package was, for example, when my package was $60,000 annually, my employer paid another $6,000, 10% of $60,000, $6,000 every year towards my superannuation fund, and I don't have to contribute anything for it. When we left Australia, we were actually able to take our superannuation fund out and get it in our bank accounts, and this is like the kind of the money which we didn't even have to take out from our paychecks. It was the stuff that our employers put into our accounts for our future, and this is something I find very amazing because you're doing savings without actually doing savings. And the last thing that I am going to share is again very personal, and it's about healthcare. Australian healthcare has very mixed reviews. Some people have very bad experiences. I know people who have had bad experiences, and I also know people who have had good experiences, and I am one of those people who have had good experience with the hospitals in Australia. So over there you have to have a private health insurance if you're not a permanent resident. I had private health insurance, and I got into a very major accident where I had broken my my shoulder bone, my ribs and my pelvic bone on the left side. It was very major. They took care of me from end to end. I had no issues with anything. Like from the time I was in hospital to the time I was discharged until my physiotherapy time, it was so good that I was impressed. I did not know that healthcare could be so good in Australia, and until then, like, none of my friends also had any experiences, so I did not know what to expect. So like, I know people who have had bad experiences, so don't come at me saying that Australian healthcare is bad. But my personal experience was very good. The doctors I met, they were so nice and gentle, and they prescribed the right medicines. I was fine in a month, and they were so good about it afterwards as well, because they were following up. They gave me physiotherapy sessions, and let me tell you, I did not have to pay anything, like not even one penny from my pocket, because the insurance covered it all. And like, my mom also came there because of this accident, and my university covered her travel expenses. That whole situation was devastating, but made me feel so good about the fact that I was treated there and I was a part of the university which took care of the students so well. So my experience with healthcare was very good. I do want to mention it because people have bad experiences, but this is one of the good experiences that I had, and I think it's very important to share good experiences as well, because out of all the negatives, there are some positives, and you should tell them. So my question to you, would you move to Australia? Would you stay there? Tell me in the comment section. And another big question, should I apply to live in Australia again? Should I apply for permanent residency again? Obviously, I love living in that country, and you would know by my videos. So do you think I should reconsider applying for permanent residency in Australia again, or should I just stay in Canada? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section. And also, if you thought my video was good enough, if you found it helpful, do give me a sub and a like, and you can also buy me a coffee if you like. But I hope this helps you figure out if Australia is the right place for you to live or not. And I will see you next time with next video. Bye bye.